Alright, welcome back. We are going to do box number 3 for this video. So we're going to start off with our 4H pencil and then move on to HB. So we're going to do it pretty much the same way. We are going to start by shading diagonally, really close together. And you kind of want to pay attention to box number 2. You don't want to shade too much into there. If you accidentally shade in there, we have a tool to fix that, which is called the gum eraser. So in this video, we're starting off by putting a layer of 4H just diagonally across. Because this is a video, you can pause it, and you're probably gonna pause it and just do this, which is kind of nice. You can rewind this in case you miss a step. I'm gonna go a little bit faster than you would. So I went super close together, and now I'm going to go in the opposite direction. So I'm going to go in the opposite direction. If you notice, I'm holding my pencil at the end, so I have a lighter leverage. I'm not using any pressure whatsoever. I'm shading super, super close, just like a printer does. I'm going to start on this end and work my way out. Because you are shading light, it is okay to go outside the lines because you can always clean those up later. Eventually, you won't be able to do that once you get to the darker areas. So I'm shading in the opposite direction, super close. What you'll notice is that box 2 and 3 start looking alike, and that's fine. We're building our values. So now I'm going to go up and down, and this is where you really need to make sure that the tip of the pencil faces the edge of your shape, and you're just going to go up and down. There should be a distinct difference between box 2 and 3 when you look at them. And again, I'm just going super light. I'm building my layers. I'm not using any pressure whatsoever. Just going up and down, really close together, and I'm building those values. If it looks uneven, it's okay. We're gonna even that out eventually. And then I'm gonna go left to right, but that's really awkward to do. So I'm going to rotate my paper, and I'm going to go up and down this way. So this is the exact same thing we did for box number 2. So they're probably gonna look really, really similar. But we're creating a base by building those values up. Alright, so your box 2 and 3 should look pretty similar. Mine looks slightly darker. Now we're going to introduce our HB pencil into this box so that it appears slightly darker. We don't want it super dark, we just want it one step up. So to do this, you can start in whatever direction you want, but my advice to you is maybe start up and down. So the tip of my HB pencil is facing the edge of my shape. I'm just kind of defining that just ever so slightly, and I'm moving my pencil up and down just very lightly, very evenly. Because I'm still going fairly light, you can go beyond your line. It's still easy to erase at this point, and I'm barely gliding against my paper. I'm using absolutely no pressure whatsoever right now. And I'm just going up and down. I have more leverage and I have more control when I'm shading up and down than left to right. I can turn my paper and go up and down this way. I personally try not to shade left to right just because I have like zero control that way. So rotate your paper. You're gonna get better shading that way. It's still okay to go outside the lines as long as it doesn't go inside box number 2. You want to avoid that. And because we're staying so tight together with your shading, you definitely see your blending improve. So as long as you're shading with the side of your pencil, you're shading really close together, and you're shading in layers, you'll start to see that your values build on top of each other. Now, as you're shading this, if you see areas that are maybe a little white or a little light, you can shade tip facing the edge and just go in that direction and build it. But right now I haven't been using hardly any pressure. So let me go ahead and look at these two. I'm looking for a distinct difference. If you feel like you need more layers, if you feel like you need to go diagonally and build that out just a little bit more, you can. But once you see a distinct difference between box 2 and 3, you can just take your eraser, again, tip faces the edge, and erase that. Or if you are really scared about erasing things, you can just take a sticky note or a piece of paper and erase so you can get some nice clean edges. And just be careful when you do this method that you don't accidentally like cut into what you're doing too much. If you do, it's not a big deal. You can just go back in and shade it. I just like using that because you don't have to worry about staying in the lines. You can leave this if you want to, or if it really bothers you, you can also erase it. Tip faces the edge, but that one doesn't really bother me all that much. So that's pretty much it for box number 3. You can continue to go a little bit darker if you feel like it, but all I'm really looking for is that you have nice clean edges, that you have even shading. If you need to even out your shading, you can either shade that in better, or you can use this little kneaded eraser here. So for example, I went a little dark in this corner. I can just take my kneaded eraser and dab it just a little bit. If for some reason there's not a distinct difference between box 2 and 3, you can always take your pencil, tip facing the edge, and just start to shade that in. But I shouldn't see a line, you wanna blend that in. And when I look at your boxes, it should all be nice and evenly blended in. So that is it for this video. I will see you in the next video for box number 4.